to go, and one more match tomorrow as well. That's the grand final. But today we have 3 best of 3s for you. Their last quarterfinal is upon us. Virtus.Pro find themselves 1 game to the good, looking for another one to confirm yet another semi-final appearance where they would meet Liquid in that semi-final. We've also got our 2 semis to come later on today as well. Sunsfan and Capitalist are on the panel to head you into game number 2, and the draft is just around the corner. Cap, what do you want to see from Virtus.Pro this time round? More of the same, I guess. They don't really have to change too much up, do they?
I do think they have to still be a little bit wary of that strong laning phase that Optic were able to employ against them. I think that Virtus.Pro was definitely a bit on the back foot, and they should be concerned about that. I'm not sure how they're exactly going to attend to that in the draft. I think leaving out the Wisp all the way into the 3-4 position is a little bit questionable for me, just because I think Optic have already had at least now 2 decent showing on the hero. There was some critical plays there by Zai in that first game that turned some team fights off of his whips. So I would be concerned about it if I was VP, but apparently they felt fine. I mean, after all, they did pick up a gyrocopter against it. I think that's like one of the harder heroes to play Wisp against. So.
Yeah, for sure. I had a message, Suns fan, from a Dota fan.
Oh boy.
Who wanted to remain anonymous, who said, based on Suns fans' ideas about what they should do crazy in this second draft, they should ban Alchemist, Bloodseeker, Leshrac, Necro, Pudge, and Ricky.
All
Why
the
is
unpicked
Slark
heroes?
not in there? Because they're on. I mean, Slark has got to be the worst hero in the game, right? Who was saying that? Somebody was telling me that. I keep forgetting who it was.
It's pretty close, yeah.
But it's been played recently, not much, admittedly, like the odd game here and there, but it's not.
Like, even when it's played, you just immediately regret it. It's like they pick the hero, and then you can see it on their faces, like, oh, why did I do that? Oh, that hero.
There's a lot of South American players who, pro players who really like playing the Slark and pubs. Never seen them play it right now in this current patch.
True, yeah.
Yeah,
is
that's a good
Bloodseeker
list, though.
better or worse?
I think Bloodseeker's okay, actually.
Do you?
It's situationally really good, especially if you go with the super fear strat that we were talking about yesterday. Make them run away, get the double rupture, and you just win the game.
I'm all on board for the old crazy stuff. Just on the fact that we are into the draft now, and we've got the bans coming. Right now, there are only 18 heroes that have been ignored. Some of those aren't in Captain's Mode. Tekkers in particular is in there. Pangolia is in there, which of course can't be picked. But there's a couple in there that could be picked. Zeus is in there. Sniper's in there. Undying's also been picked recently. Ursa as well.
I was thinking Zeus could have potentially been okay last game. Against Terrorblade, against Omni. Of course, you have Repel, but against GA, it's great. But just the hero, I don't know. Yeah. It doesn't feel great right now.
So, quick 2 first picks from these 2 teams. Virtus.Pro with the Chenjaro opening, and Optic have gone for the same as they did. Well, not quite the same as they did, but gone for the Death Prophet, the same again. This time with the Witch Doctor, which got banned last time.
Yeah, Optic knew the Chen was going to be picked up second pick. Virtus.Pro, you just leave it out there for them. Virtus.Pro definitely going to be picking it. I think they still like the Death Prophet versus the Gyrocopter matchup, just because the Yule Scepter can dodge a lot of the damage, and the single target focus of the ghosts, the physical damage that you can lay into Gyro is really nice sometimes, though I think win rate wise it's actually more favorable for Gyrocopter, but theoretically it's a good pickup here.
You were kind of talking about the matchups with the IO last game not being super favorable. Do you think because Disruptor is out of the pool, is that enough for VP to warrant the ban here? Plus, obviously, Witch Doctor is also good against Wisp, but they can't get that.
I think the Disruptor caused them a lot of problems last time around when they had this Death Prophet. They were able to, especially with the Terrorblade and how Terrorblade employs his pushing mechanism, you can always pop your Terrorblade Metamorphosis to match a Death Prophet Exorcism push, but you don't want to do the same if you're Death Prophet. You never want to be using that Exorcism defensively to be able to protect against a push. So what happens so many times that Terrorblade, he forces these aggressive pushes onto you, and there are many times where they were able to catch glimpses that force the Death Prophet or Troll or one of these heroes to be able to use their BKB or forced out a relocate save, and I think they felt uncomfortable with the way that Virtus.Pro was able to take away a lot of tempo by forcing some of those things out of them.
I think we're going to see Morphling first 2 picked here in one of these series coming up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Continually banned second phase.
OG did it, right? I think they picked it up in the first one too. I would not be surprised whatsoever. It just one team needs to feel confident enough with it.
And we get to see Tusk though. Exciting stuff. Some nice ice shards blocking incoming.
It's a great hero to run with the Death Prophet because the way with the Ice Shard block off in the mid lane allows the Death Prophet to be able to get nice and close, get that Spirit Siphon out. And it's a protecting hero for the Death Prophet as well, to be able to get the Snowball and protect against the big magic burst damage that comes out from the Gyrocopter. All around
between that, eventual Yules in a lot of cases, or Eon Disc, which was picked up last game.
Yeah.
A lot of survivability in this DP for sure. But now you have to worry about giving away Exorcism to Rubik. Snowball is a great steal. Very easy one. Cask is probably the most value, though. Although you can spam Voodoo Restoration, I guess, to limit that.
5 seconds remaining.
So there are a couple of heroes here that I think could take advantage of the Chen pickup here from Virtus Pro. While Sand King's out, Beastmaster is still out there in the pool. I think Batrider does a decent job of it as well. You just want some of those heroes to take advantage of the fact that you have this roaming rotation that these supports can't really deal very well with. Like, after all, you look at Witch Doctor, Paralyzing Cast is great versus the Chen creeps, but it doesn't really, it doesn't give you an offensive option. It just kind of stops the aggression and makes it a little bit harder to dive towers, but that offense is still a possibility.
Now they're going to pick up the Lifestealer, so Pycat's hero is already picked in all likelihood for. So that leaves the off lane 3-3 or Zai, I guess, interchangeably.
Yeah, looking at this, maybe they felt like there are plenty of options, I think, still left for your offlaner if you're Optic or VP. While many teams have been favoring this Lifestealer, again, versus the Gyrocopter matchup. It's a little bit curious to me because while Lifestealer does dodge a lot of the Gyrocopter's damage through his rage, natural magic immunity, there is definitely a big movement speed advantage and kiting possibilities for the Gyro against this hero. But I think they just like to be able to employ this kind of bullish carry that protects against this, what is usually a mid-game, early to mid-game domination of team fights by Gyrocopter, and I think that's why he's so popular right now.
What do you think of Void?
I think Void is usually a really great pairing with the Death Prophet. I prefer a little bit more on the safe lane with an active offlaner here. But in this situation, as an offlaner for Optic, with a Lifestealer on your same team, that is not a bad choice.
Thinking of heroes against Lifestealer, right? You got Razor, who's obviously banned. Anybody that goes through BKB is going to be pretty damn good. Void, probably close to top of the list. And, I mean, you can put Gyro mid. Ramses can play pretty much whatever. Of course, Pasha could end up playing the offlane Void like you just discussed. But looks like we're going to see a Naga.
Oh,
wow.
that
Position 1 Naga?
Maybe, or it could be the offlane Naga Siren.
Hopefully it's not position 1 Naga, for everybody's sake here.
I think Initiation is like a big point of contest going up against any Death Prophet lineup. That's why I'm like kind of okay with the concept of the Void pickup, just because it does offer you that big team fight capability. I'm not so set on specifically Void against Death Prophet because of how the silence works out. It's a big threat to you as a hero.
All right, this is going to sound weird, but I like Enigma now for VP. Offlane.
Yeah, because of the Naga Siren setup?
Yeah, I like it a lot. Plus you got Gyro, got a decent amount of AoE to actually get some good team fight going.
And a controlling mechanism against Lifestealer, but it gets banned.
Aww.
Banned.
I felt so smart just for like 5 seconds. You know?
I mean, you were smart. You were right.
You were right. PBD agreed with you.
He heard me.
So they think it's a safe lane Naga Siren with the mid Gyrocopter once again against the Death Prophet mid.
Okay. Turn to pick. Well, they're going to ban Tide on the other side. So offlane versus offlane, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that would make sense. We've got the Tusk, which is usually a 33 hero. We've got the PPD Witch Doctor, so...
I still like Void. I'm going all in, boys. Don't get to see that much Void in my life these days, so let's do it. Purple people eaters out there can appreciate.
Tiny's out.
They haven't played a great deal of Void, it has to be said. They've only played 6 games in the last 6 months with Faceless Void, and 4 of those were 6 months ago.
Yeah, but they've had quite a bit of practice. You know, that hero's been in the game for quite a while. You know, it's like one of those heroes you don't forget how to play him. Obviously, Time Dilation is somewhat newer ability as far as if you go way back, but I mean, that's pretty good ability this game too, in fact. Really good.
You haven't seen too much Doom.
Oh, God, not Doom. That hero just feels horrible. Like, if you put him as a position 4, it feels like it's okay if he doesn't have a great game, you know? I mean, VP with Lil, right? It's kind of a staple hero for him in a lot of ways.
It is the off-lane Naga.
Off-lane Naga. Interesting.
And the Juggernaut, usually a pretty good pickup for the single target focus against some of these heroes. He likes Lifestealer. He's okay versus Death Prophet.
Ramsey's jump.
Bat Rider, Puck. I think you would like to have an aggressive carrier here for the Lifestealer that gives you a lot of disable and doesn't allow the Naga stuff. Like, you want to be able to blow up some of these heroes. You don't want to let Juggernaut get off his spin or in his Omni Slash. You don't want to let Naga Siren get off the sleep. You have a Chen send back that you have to worry about as well. Gyrocopter offers a lot of offense as soon as he's not stunned or silent. So I think you want that hard, fast initiation.
Let's get some Centaur in here, buddy. Terrible hero. It'll fit in just perfectly here for Optic. Throw a curveball. Get the worst hero in the game.
Confuse VP early on in the draft, not at the last pick when the draft is already over.
Well, you can dumbfound them with that pick, right? They just sit there not understanding what's going on with their lives.
What about a brew or a clock?
A brew.
Don't really. Clock is okay versus Naga, but I don't like the way it scales. I prefer like a bit more scaling offlaner, maybe Beastmaster. Brew gives you a lot of team fight opportunities.
You can't primal split out of Ensnare, can you? Not that it really would matter most of the game, but it is going to be the puck like you talked about.
Hard and fast, just the way 33 should like it. I think this is going to be... I hope it's a better showing for him. I think he made just a couple of as an offlaner, it's tough to be able to read the game and always make the right decision and win, because you have such a small window oftentimes where you just have to say, go on this, right? And so most offlaners, when it comes to making fast decisions, it's a trait, it's a good trait. But in that last game, I think there were a couple of dual initiations that were just a little bit off on the timing. Here, he's got a puck. I think he's got to feel really comfortable with this. I think it's perfectly up his alley. I like Optic's lineup quite a bit.
Okay. Is that who you're settling on for your prediction?
If you go with lineup,
you go first. Hold up, I got to think about what VP.
Okay. I'm gonna say I don't care what the lineup is. I'm going with VP.
Okay. Any particular reason? You like the colors? Or?
They're just a better team.
Okay. A valid point.
I mean, I'm just going to be pretty blunt about it, right? I mean, I think Optic can be very good. Don't get me wrong, but VP's just...
I'm personally loving the NA hate from you today.
I think the combination of the Naga Siren and the Ramses Juggernaut, there is a lot of possibilities where Virtus Pro punish sloppy play. I think this sort of setup from Optic, they have to play clean, they have to play perfect. They didn't show that in game 1, so I'll go Virtus Pro.
Okay. All right. Both of our panel members have decided they've gone for Virtus Pro. No love for NA. Plenty of love for NA on our casting panel, though. Let's go back to Brax and more.
Thanks for that, Paul. I'm not sure how true that actually is. We're getting into the second game of this series. It is Virtus Pro up 1-0. Brax, the story for me is the Pasha Naga Siren. Not something you would expect somebody like Pasha to play, but it is there in that 3 position.
It's very interesting. The Song of the Siren, very good against the Death Prophet Exorcism. You can reset the fight and play it afterwards that way, but you're right. I don't know how this is going to play out. We saw, Newbee KP likes to play Naga, but he plays it more like the 1 position, right? He actually is the 1 position.
This is quite the game. Virtus Pro up 1-0. They are 1 game away from taking on Team Liquid in the semifinals. They will have a break if they do win this game and win this series. Optic trying to even this series back up at 1 apiece. The last hope for a North American Dota in this tournament. EG already down and out. And Optic trying to get this series even back up at 1 apiece. And we will see if they can. We'll start out by checking out the laning phase and the wards. So far, not really anything too crazy. Pasha looks to be top with no one. They're kind of contesting these runes at this point, but I don't think this will turn into anything too significant. I'm sure if they want to fight here, they can. The question is, what is Pasha going to skill up at level 1? Is he just going to go Riptide, maybe Ensnare, depending on if they can get a kill on Pycat?
I would assume so, but he's holding his skill point in case the open wounds comes out so he can remove it with the images.
They have the homing missile coming in. Pasha has that. He did skill up the Ensnare. He will use it. Okay. The Rage comes out. They have the homing missile, so no rocket barrage damage, but it's a lot of auto attack damage still going. I don't think they can get the kill. Pycat will get back onto the tier 1 tower. So he does actually skill up the Ensnare for Pasha.
Yeah, and now Pycat has Rage in this lane. That is not good for him at all.
Usually you want Feast, maybe Open Wounds to try to get a kill early on. Oh, nice dodge from Pasha, avoiding the Maledict. Whoops, indeed.
What a perfectly timed whoops.
Yeah,
It's pretty funny. You can speak for the enemy, you know?
That's...
Oh, boy. The courier snipe so close, Solo.
One auto attack away, so close from getting it. It's going to head right around back to the underneath the tower and a safe haven there, but it should be fine on the way back, I would assume. They'll just wait and just keep the courier at the tier 1 tower or send it the long way with the Zai Tusk, I believe.
Yep, interesting stuff. We got Puck against Juggernaut, pretty much solo. And then we've seen this matchup so many times now in this particular tournament. Death Prophet versus Gyro in the mid lane. But it makes sense, right? Gyrocopter, pretty flexible, not the worst laner. Pretty decent, actually, especially with homing missile builds. He can hold his own against a lot of these matchups.
I mean, no one's done well with it. In this series already, he had a pretty good advantage at the start of the first game that we just saw recently.
Oh, yeah.
Against CCNC on this Death Prophet. So we'll see if he can get some help. Also, you have a Chen now. So we talked a lot about the static laning phase for the supports in the last game, the 2-1-2. You have a Chen now.
Yep.
You can rotate a lot. You can get so much farm just through farming the jungle, and you can also find those big kills as well. And we might see it. He has the 2 shard golems and the 1 mud golem. That's 3 different stuns available, and they might be able to dive PPD if they're not careful. There's the 1 stun. There's the double stun. There's the triple stun. One more auto attacking solo. Pasha will get the first blood.
Oh my God,
that's
what do you do
it
about
in a nutshell. That's the 3 mud golem tosses. It seems almost insane, Brax.
Man, bringing out Tiny's family.
Yeah. And there's going to be another one on the Pikehead. He's forced to rage in the top lane, but he's still taking auto attack damage, and the creeps are blocking him in, and he's in trouble. They have Ensnare, they have Riptide. This is going to be another kill for Virtus before the telekinesis comes out. Meanwhile, CCNC does get no one in the mid lane. Ooh, what a spicy top lane for this gen.
Oh, yeah. When you think Leicester, you think, all right, this hero is really stable, difficult to pressure, hard to gank, but not when all these shard golds come in.
I've seen, it seems like the best creep to get at the beginning of the game now.
It is the best creep, especially because you can use the, you can take over a different creep. It kills the main mud golem, brings out the 2 shard golems, so you can get the 3 stuns off right away. It's very powerful.
Each golem toss doing 125 damage. Times 3, it's pretty good, let me tell you.
Yeah, that's a lot. I can't do the math really quickly, but they die.
NA math, let me tell you. 15 last hits for the puck in the bottom lane for 3-3. The Jug sitting at 11. And now they're going back on top, potentially. Roger will take a Maledict, but it's just some harass. This Lifestealer not having the easiest time. They're going to go for the Snowball mid, though. The Spirit Siphon coming out the Ice Shards. No one going to try to join the Rocket Barrage. He's actually doing a lot of damage to Zai. He almost will get this kill with 1 more auto attack at the flank, and he will, and no one's still alive. They had the telekinesis for a solo. Virtus Pro. What a start for them at the beginning of the second game.
This time on when ganks go wrong.
Yeah, seriously. Well, but this off lane, though, all the meanwhile, done rather well. Roger still getting caught, getting the kill onto PPD before he drops the Maledict, and Pasha is still here, but he's out of mana. And Pikehead will try to clear up the Satyr Tormentor.
Gen creeps to have a large health pool. Feast comes out and gets a free heal for Pikehead. Very nice.
He is still sitting at 11 last hits, though. And Solo will finally rotate bottom to try to get Ramsey some extra room.
Up top, Pasha with the snowball. Can they get the Ice Shards?
He does have them available. He's waiting on it. There they go. And they will be able to get this kill with 1 auto attack and the cast coming in. The stick charge coming out, but I don't think that'll save him. Maybe it will. Might be enough. He's actually so fast. This is Naga Siren in a nutshell. The movement speed. She's a speedy person in this top lane.
Can't believe she survived.
Yeah.
She had the mirror images, too, if the open wounds ever came out, ready to dispel that. It's odd, right? We see this hero, and when she's played as a support, very strong in lane. The stats on the hero are fantastic. Lots of health, lots of armor to work with, and Riptide, of course, very strong early. Once you pair that up with the Chen, makes a lot of sense.
She's having a very good early game. 20 last
hits. CCNC. Here comes the rocket.
Yeah, the homing missile coming out the Spirit Siphon, keeping him alive for now. Solo getting the illusions and auto attacks. It looks like they just need 1 or 2 more. CCNC sticking up. It's going to be close. He's back behind the tower, and he might survive. The last auto attack won't be there, and now they're going to turn onto Solo. The snowball is up, and he might get ice sharded in. CCNC, the Crystal. He gets the Fade Bolt, though.
Is Solo going to live?
He just backed up, and he's going to TP away.
Oh, my God.
In the meantime, Pasha kills Pike out of the side lane. What is happening? He just needed to back up.
Wow, my mouth is open for that. That is incredible.
All he had to do was take a few more steps back. He would have survived. But the play from Solo to dive and get that Fate Bolt off at the last second, plus they kill another hero on the top lane.
With the TP out, too? Man.
That is, you're feeling pretty good if you're solo there.
Yeah, that's the play that puts a smile on your face.
It's 6-2 now for Virtus Pro. It's a 1K lead. Still pretty even for the most part at 6 minutes in, but now the Chen has Medallion, and this is where things get a bit scary. The Cask will be under the Centaur and the Satyr. They'll try to TP them back home. The Satyr will fall, the Centaur will survive, but now in the mid lane again, the Rocket Barrage coming, and CCNC dead once more. That's 2 kills in a row. Meanwhile, Ramsey's getting the spin coming through the Ice Shards, though. He will get blocked in. The send back, it's not going to be in time. The Illusion Orb comes in from 3-3. And at least they will get something in this top lane. They're kind of shutting down Ramses to a certain extent. They're at least keeping him even with Pycat on the Lifestealer for now.
Yeah, he's really suffering in the level department, right? But with the lane switches, is he going to come back up to top?
The Centaur Conqueror Stomp, the double Centaur Conqueror Stomp, the auto attacks are there, and Roger finding the kill. The Medallion is up and ready to go, and Roger's impact has already been felt at the beginning of this game.
Look at Pasha's build. He's got the Meteor Hammer. Cute. Was that? Yeah, that's what that is,
yes.
Right? Yeah. Meteor Hammer. I thought it was the Aghanim Scepter, but my eyes were so bad.
He's ready to build into that. That's the first item, and he's going to have it. The Linger duration is different now in the Naga Siren, so it's not as easy to hit as it once was in the last patch. But it is still a good item on that here. Plus, you have the Ensnare to set it up too if you need it.
Exactly.
Telekinesis, the Centaur Conquerors. They have the really great snowball, though, coming from Zai. Actually rotates over to Roger. They still have the Ensnare, but a lot of TPs are coming in. It's going to be the puck now roaming through, and Roger might actually fall here. Optic looking to finally find a kill. They're taking a while to do this. I mean, this is taking forever, but they will get the kill with the Crypt Swarm and the last auto attack. They have the Dream Coil, and Solo will fall, and Optic getting 2 on the board now, up to 5 to 8 the kill score, and some extra room to work with for the rest of their cores.
That was very well played by Zai, being able to snowball, take CCNC, and it gets him away from the creeps. It's nice to see. Some much-needed kills for Optic Gaming.
Getting more room for Pycat up to level 5 now, trying to go for a Hand of Midas on Pycat.
What a chaotic game. We have both carriers being crippled massively in their lanes, right? And then both offlaners being accelerated very quickly. We have Puck running around the map, making plays happen. Same thing with Pasha's Naga Siren. The game is it's reversed.
Yeah.
Carries off to an extremely slow start, but it's up to both these teams to make some plays happen.
You do have a Puck with Dream Coil. It's back up in 20 seconds. His first rotation secured a kill.
Look at Pycat baiting in the bottom.
Yeah,
line.
he really is. They're going to try to find a kill on Solo down here. They've got the Telekinesis left there. Instead, looking for Roger, probably a bigger kill than Solo at this point. Got the open wounds, the Illusory Orb. They're going to try to dive and get more, but no one has rotated in with the call down, looking at the Flat Cannon and the Rocket Barrage. Zai getting destroyed by the Rocket Barrage, doing a lot of damage. They will get off the Snowball for now, and it's moving to the range creep. Now we'll head over to Pycat, try to keep him safe. The Heartbeat Stormcrafter zapping him down. Zai with 1 or 2 more auto attacks will finally fall, but 3-3 is still here. And that Heartbeat Stormcrafter is doing a lot of work, but it's still a solo double kill. The zaps are coming in from this thing. It is at 75 HP. It lives long enough to be able to really help out Virtus Pro in that situation.
The Harpy Stormcrafter putting out so much damage. CCNC makes rotation with the haste.
He's got the Shrine. This might keep no one alive. The Spirit Siphon, the Ghost. It's not enough. Not yet. Anyways, it's going to be close. He finally goes down. CCNC pops the Exorcism for a solo kill, but it looks like it's probably worth it at that point, Brax.
Man, 33 had his abilities up there too, but he took so much damage from the lightning into the Rubik lift, and he just died before he got the coil off. Pretty unfortunate.
Ramsey's spinning on the top lane, looking for Zai, trying to cut the creep wave, and now he's up a little too deep. The waiting rip the Ice Shards. The Cask Bounce, that's a big kill. Trying to push in that top wave. A battle of a game. The Exorcism is still going. Pasha getting low. The Ensnare, they're going to try to turn this around. The Medallion getting him low, but he's going to get that Ghost skill back up, and now they cannot continue to chase for Virtus Pro.
What fortunate timing. He almost died there.
Brax, it's 10-8 at 9 minutes into this game. It is a battle. 18 kills total, and there's still a slight advantage for Virtus Pro. It is very close.
What do you call this kind of an action-packed game? Do you call this a shake game?
And we call it a barn burner, Brax.
Okay, good. I like that.
That's really what it's been at this point. It's been nonstop back and forth every minute, maybe even more often. There have been a kill or two, so they'll try to push into the top tier 1 towers. I don't think any of the towers have been taken yet, surprisingly. All the tier 1s are still available. The Exorcism didn't get the job done in the mid lane, so we're still waiting on our first big objective, and really our first big items too. We have to. The Puck Blink Dagger is one of those items, maybe whatever Pasha wants to get, which is still that Meteor Hammer, and he's getting close to it as well.
Yeah, the Puck Blink Daggers will let them press their advantage, will press these team fights in their favor even more, right? Pycat going for the Hand of Midas, very wise this game. He's had a very slow start. Ramses, though, I'm worried about his progression. You know, what's he going to go for? Is he going to go for that Battle Fury afterwards and hope that his other cores can help stall the game out long enough for him to actually become online?
And it
feels like he needs that, right? He needs something to get into the game.
I would have thought that with Ramses kind of falling behind, they would have gone for the Radiance and the Naga Siren, but they just feel really confident about the
You know,
Meteor Hammer.
he hasn't bought anything
Yeah,
yet. There
that's
is a good
true.
chance he could go for that.
He could just save up to the 3,800 and get the Relic and inevitably get to that Radiance. It might not be a bad idea in this game because Ramses is so far behind.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea at all.
We're trying to set up on no one in the mid lane, but he is able to avoid the Ice Shards. He's doing okay, but meanwhile, the Snowball into Solo. They've got the Maledict coming into Cask, and Solo he is level 6. He's got the Spell Steal, and he will use the Cast, but I don't think it will really save him here. As the open wounds come out, they have the Rage, Maledict ticking him down, and that will be a nice pickup for Optic Gaming in the river.
Yep, that was a Smoke Kink, though, and Optic were not able to really get any wards down after that, so not that big of a deal for VP, probably. They're okay with that.
And they're going to try to encroach upon mid lane now. VP need to back up. Zai level 5. He has the level 2 Snowball, the level 3 Ice Shards. They're going to They're going to set this up. They're trying to find CC&C. The range isn't there, though. It looks like they won't be able to find it. They have to cancel it. That is the first Song of the Siren down for 160 seconds. They get nothing out of it.
Wow, okay. And he is committed to the Meteor Hammer, by the way. He picked up 2 items for that.
Wow. I like this, though, from Virtus.Pro. They're going to smoke again immediately afterwards. Optic might not expect this because the Song of the Siren is, in fact, down. They were looking for a target in the top lane. The puck already extremely low. I'd be surprised if 3-3 stays. He might just back himself up and TP out, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to TP to the Shrine, and this will give room for Optic to use the Exorcism in the mid lane and try to take this Tier 1 tower, Brax.
Yep, and 33 is actually going for the Veil Rush instead of a Blink Dagger. Pretty interesting. I guess they do have good initiation and good catch with the Tusk already, so they don't have to worry about that too much.
Decent magic damage as well.
Yes. Something we did not see in the last game.
No, a lot of physical. But Optic will take the Tier 1 tower as there's some split pushing. Ramses has really spun TP'd, and he's just been split pushing and trying to take these towers. And he will get the Tier 1 top lane. He has the healing ward going as well. So it's going to be a trade. That's actually not bad for Virtus.Pro because that's Exorcism committed, whereas Ramses, he doesn't have to use anything to get that Tier 1 tower on the top lane.
Right, with the Chen, they don't have to really wait for anything.
Zai avoids the Omni Slash with the Snowball, but he still might be in trouble. He's going to head to the creeps. They should have an ensnare ready, and they do, and they will find Zai. It was a nice play to avoid that Omni Slash, but now the rest of the team is coming in. They've got the spin, though, and PPD getting chased down. The Illusion Orb coming through. I think it's stolen by Solo, and now it's a double kill for Ramses. 3-3 has the double damage, but the Stormcrafter continues. The Zaps are there. The Rocket Barrage. It's 3 dead for Optic Gaming. Virtus.Pro. Chen's impact on Roger feels so significant in this game.
These creeps are just so strong when you have 2 nets like that, and then you have the continuous chain lightning damage coming out from the Harpy Stormcrafter. A very underrated creep. We don't see it picked up very often, but it makes a lot of sense.
I should see with the open wounds from Pycat. They won't be able to find anything. But yeah, despite Optic losing a lot of heroes in the beginning of this game, it's still not over for them, and they're still farming very well.
Yeah, still very, very even. This is pretty awkward, right? Zai he manages to get caught out, trying to make something happen, and they have a DD on the puck, but look at the army you're fighting into. With the spinning Juggernaut, he doesn't care about that at all. PPD dies pretty much instantly.
He just gets run down.
Yeah, there's no way to take this fight.
This DD puck does not do anything. The lift comes in. The plays from Virtus.Pro. The Meteor Hammer is now done. It is up and available for the Naga Siren. And Optic starting to invade the enemy jungle, trying to find something else for them. An extra Tier 1 tower would be perfect if they can get it.
Look at the net worth all of a sudden. Pycat, what happened to this guy? He found some farm.
Yeah, that Midas is starting to kick in.
Even Ramses, right? They made a huge recovery.
Ramses is actually going back for the Battle Fury.
It's a good choice this game. He definitely needs that item to, be able to farm. That's what it does, Mont.
Yeah, and they can carry them into the late game later on down the road if they get to that point. Just drop the Meteor Hammer in the mid lane, the Tier 1 tower. The assault begins. That item seems pretty strong on this hero, the Naga Siren. Ramses gets caught by PPD, but he spins out immediately, so they can't find the cast or any really significant initiation for Optic Gaming. And Pasha has the song if he wants to set something up. There's a hasted 3-3 and CC&C nearby, but this is just giving more room for Roger to farm in the top lane, push the wave out. They could set up and try to go for a smoke, perhaps. I'm not sure if they want to. They have all of their abilities up and ready to go, other than Hand of God, which is back up in 25.
Again, the vision from VP is just so good. Every time they have these deep, aggressive wars that just let them know exactly what Optic Gaming are up to. Helps them track their movements nicely.
Conversely, there's a lot of deep wards for Optic as well, so both teams having a decent vision advantage in this game. Meanwhile, they're going to come through. They have Snowball and Solo. He will get Warrior's Punch. He's still in trouble now. The Ensnare coming in. have the Zai locked down there. They finally get the lift off. Where's the rest of the heroes for Optic? It looks like they're backing up. Zai's just going to get caught and killed. Maybe he gets up to the high ground, actually. And now the Deathward comes in, and Ramsey's getting turned on. The call down will go from no one, but if VP have to back up together, they still have the Song of the Siren. 3-3 is there. He's already used the Dream Coil. Roger is split pushing top. In the meanwhile, they have the Veil now up under the puck, and this is going to be Ramsey's in trouble. The Snowball, the Exorcism, the Hand of God. Now the Meteor Hammer about to come out from Pasha. Will they get it off? The damage is being done. They've got the Rocket Barrage, the Flat Cannon. Nobody's dead yet. They finally get the puck. They're about to get another in CCNC. Pycat is here. The Omni Slash coming in. No one getting low. It's going to be a 3-4-for-1 trade, and Pycat might die as well. He's about to be the 5th death for Optic as Ramsey is chasing him down with the Blade Fury. They have another ensnare ready to go here in just a moment. They have it now, but he infests inside a creep, trying to juke and just get away, but it looks like he will get caught and killed as they have the telekinesis there. They have another ensnare to come in. The Rage will come out, though. He does it at a perfect time, trying for a TP, but it's not going to be there.
Great.
Ramses gets a dominating spree out of that, and all 5 dead for Optic. And Virtus Pro, they didn't even have Roger. He uses Hand of the God, and he takes the tier 2 tower in the top lane.
Roger on split push duty, secures the tower, picks up a whole bunch of farm.
He is rich. He has 2,600 gold. He has 2,700 gold, actually.
Wow.
I mean,
that was such a weird fight. It was so long, right? We saw the coil come out in the beginning. Nothing really happened. The healing award was ticking the entire time, and it helped VP remain in the fight. But I don't know. They need more items, right? It's a Lifestealer working on Radiance. Not quite there yet. Once he hits that, he'll hit a massive power spike. But until then, he's quite weak.
They need more room. They need to fight with his Exorcism. They've not really been able to do that yet. They're going to get the call down and snare combination on the PPD. This is going to do a lot of damage on its own right. They might even be able to get the kill, but they know that Optic are behind him, and they don't want to try to dive for this too deeply. And he'll be able to back up and stay alive, but the tower will get denied, I believe, by Optic. It's like 1 HP now.
It should. It
should get denied. Yeah, Zai's coming in. They're just going to take care of this together. So that's another tower gone. They've already lost the tier 2 in the top lane. Virtus Pro now have a 4K lead, about to get up to 5K, and they are very farmed. They have their ultimates coming back off cooldown. If they want to continue to run at Optic, they can.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Optic Gaming rely on this Exorcism. It is back up, but VP, their team fight's really strong. That Song of the Siren into the Meteor Hammer combo was fantastic. Manages to stun 2 people there, but look at this. It's Roche time. We've got Chen with the Medallion and the Penitence and a creep army with double damage. It dies so fast.
Yeah, they just smoke into the pit. There is no way they can get there in time. They're TPing over there, but it's too little too late. We saw it in the last game, but Virtus Pro are doing it again. Sneaking Roche right from underneath Optic's nose. That'll be Aegis picked up by Ramses. And it's more room to work with. This Jug is now top of the net worth. He has the Battle Fury done. His next big item is going to be coming out here and going to be coming out in just a moment. I think it's even on the courier, I believe.
We're getting to that point of the game where Optic Gaming desperately need a Blink Dagger on Puck to take fights in their favor, you know? Without that Blink Dagger, you can't get in there. Lift
and he
into
might just
the
die.
missile.
Rocket Barrage. That was a nice play from Solo. They have the phase shift, but I think he's dead one way or the other. They have to earn taking him down. They almost get Solo out of it. The Snowball coming in. Zai was trying to save him. He might actually fall. The Walrus Punch isn't going to save his life. It's going to be a double kill for no one. They're going to lose more in the top lane. Roger gets a solo kill into PPD, and now they have a 7K lead, Brax.
My goodness, and Roger has Aghanim Scepter completed.
He is a full Ags, huh? That is
ridiculously farmed.
That's pretty insane. Some of these ancient creeps, well, that's going to be nice to have.
They do have Lifestealer, so he can, of course, always infest these creeps. And that'll help, especially when he gets to that Radiance. The big difference is Ramses has had his Battle Fury for quite some time. And look at how farmed he is. Pycat without the Radiance can't really match his farm speed at all.
I mean, Pycat just doesn't do enough damage. They haven't had any infest bombs.
Right.
But you're right about the Blink Dagger on the puck, though. That seems to be the item that they're missing for a lot of these initiations.
They're missing a lot of these key elements before they can really take team fights. And when you can't fight up against a Chen Juggernaut lineup, you're going to lose every objective.
They have lost a lot of their towers. The tier 1 still alive down the bottom lane, and Pycat's trying to push it out, push that wave down, and try to get to that tier 2 tower themselves. But Virtus Pro have found a couple of ancient creeps. The ancient black dragons, he's got 2 of them, and they could start really getting together and going for another engagement if they want. They have that song, they have the Meteor Hammer up for the Naga Siren. He almost has a Blink Dagger, actually, in Pasha as well.
Their 5-man group up is just ridiculously strong, right? You always have that Song of the Siren. In case you're in danger, you can ensnare the Rage Lifestealer to lock him down. And of course, there's that annoying Meteor Hammer damage on the structures.
They could just keep doing that, backing up, getting the tower, backing up, getting the tower damage from that Meteor Hammer. I mean, they're in a 7K advantage at 19 minutes into this game, and Optic, they have to find a big fight. They have to get a good Exorcism from Death Prophet, really be able to do anything in these engagements. It feels like they need that Blink Dagger from the puck.
They just need more. right? They need so many more items on their heroes. We have Blink Dagger online for Puck, but Lifestealer still needs that Radiance. We need some sort of defensive item on Death Prophet, even after the ult, so she can stay alive in some of these team fights, because she dies so fast to just the random AoE damage, the call down, flat cannon from Gyrocopter. It's rough.
This Gyrocopter is already getting big, so as soon as the Radiance comes out, he's going to have an SNY, so I think actually he was building into a BKB now. He's a Yasha with the Niflhammer instead, so BKB is going to be done. But good news for Optic is they do have that Blink Dagger for 3-3. They do have the Relic done for the Lifestealer. He's just a couple hundred gold away from having the Radiance. They have the tools to fight here in just a few moments, but they're going to lose most of their outer towers by the time that happens.
Yep, they don't push the fastest. Of course, they have Exorcism when it's available to help take down some of these structures, but they need to split push. They need to be able to get something while VP just run down lanes and take all their towers, because they're not ready to fight yet. They need time. They need to be able to stall out this game so they can pick up some items and fight. But that just gives VP the control and freedom to run down and get these really deep wards, like Solo just placed that excellent ward mid lane to help scout out these movements.
Yeah, the vision advantage, critical for Virtus Pro in
That's
game
one of those wards that's really, really hard to even think that it's there.
You just have no idea. They get the telekinesis off the call down, though, but the silence coming in for the puck actually keeps them pushed back for the most part. CCNC will take a homing missile, actually Yule Scepters to avoid it, but they have the vision. They see exactly what Optic are doing with that ward.
Yep.
And they smoke right on top of it, too.
They know exactly what's going on.
They'll sit Ramses in the front lines. They have the Chen army coming in. They're ready to fight. They're not concerned about this at all. They can Song to disengage if they really need to. Here they go. They're going to infest. They're trying to find Solo. Not the best target. The Song of the Siren comes out, but they still will find Solo. He's dead, but there's that Omni Slash coming in. It's a lot of damage. Pycat's in trouble. The Dream Quill comes out. The Ancient Black Dragon dropping down the fire. It's on the ground. And it's a 1-for-1 trade with Pycat getting dropped. They're looking for no one, but they jump in. Witch Doctor was getting dropped, and Zai brings him to his death with that snowball. They'll take the tier 1 tower, or tier 2 tower, excuse me. In the meantime, Puck is trying to clear the wave behind them. They have one creep alive, but it's going to be enough to get the tier 2 at the very least.
Yep. Nice play from Puck to wipe out the creep whip, but with Chen, they can't always just tank up the wave. Oh, Pasha.
He almost got caught ice shards. That would have been a critical kill if they could find it. They're still chasing the snowball, but again, this Naga is so fast. They actually have Ramses coming back, and the Silence comes out 3-3 looking for a Waning Rift. He gets it off, but still, the Naga finally goes down. They'll get something out of this for Optic. CCNC getting lower and lower, though, to Ramses, just chasing him down. He has the Aegis still. Oh, there comes the Ancient Black Dragons. The double fireball coming in just melts him down. He was not expecting that from the high ground.
And no one with the haste picks up Puck in the background,
He's dead for 45 seconds. They can push the tier 3 tower at 22 minutes into this game. They have the buyback in the Puck, but I don't know if they're able to fight this. The Exorcism is available, but again, he doesn't have the buyback to work with. Now no one pops the BKB. They infest him. One of the creeps. They've already taken down another hero. It's PPD getting dropped. The tier 3 tower is dropped down. They've got the Puck buying back and TBing into the fray. They're trying to fight. They have the illusory orb coming in, but that's it for now. It's just a tier 3 taken by Virtus Pro. They can back up. They can take the shrines. They can wait for the next Roshan, which is still a ways away, but it is now a 12K lead, Brax.
A team with less discipline would have just maintained their ground. They're on the high ground, but VP extremely disciplined. They respect the buyback, back it on up. They've taken the tier 3. We can wipe out these shrines, take map control that way, and play the game nice and slow.
I think if they had Song of the Siren and Pasha there, they might have been able to stay and just Song and disengage if they got into any trouble, but
yep.
They said, okay, let's just be safe. We don't have the Song to work with. We don't have that to fall back on.
Yep, VP not leaving themselves in a position where they can give anything back. It's crazy to see how the new age of Chen, right? Chen has farmed so much more than they used to in the past. It used to just be all about getting that mech and running down a lane, and then you would fall off. You wouldn't really scale into the game, but this generation of Chens, they get these fast agonyms, and they go, all right, let's check it out. What happens here, Ron? We get the lift on the PPD, he dies pretty much instantly.
I mean, it's just a Witch Doctor dying to the Fireball and the Spin and the Fable. Plenty of burst damage. They BKB. he's having a good time
there. Yep.
With this type of game for Virtus Pro, it's not hard to see why.
Yeah, it's all smiles for them, Mod.
It is a 14K lead. Everybody is really contributing. Even this Rubik for Solo has made some insane plays in this game. He's already got his Blink Dagger with a full earn completed too. And I mean, they've got everything they need, and Optic have to try to find some fight. Otherwise, they might lose their high ground advantage. They might lose their set of racks here if they're not careful.
So let's think for a minute. How can Optic Gaming take some fights, right? We have the Radiance up on Lifestealer. We have Puck's Blink Dagger like we've been talking about. Puck can always cut these creep waves, and it's pretty difficult for Optic to catch them. It's only Solo's Blink liftable. Here we go. We got the smoke up from Optic. Looking for the flank. They know that they want to take out some shrines on the side of VP. So perhaps they can jump them. Like, look, we have no one in the bottom lane. So if they're able to find a jump, they can fight it without the Gyrocopter potentially there, but no one's already on the way.
It's going to be a big fight.
Oh, they see Roger.
Yeah, Roger has been the target. Solo's actually going to be the one jumped on, but he blinks out in time. The snare comes in. They've got the Song of the Siren. They're trying to lock down this Lifestealer. Here comes the Meteor Hammer onto 2, but the face shift comes out. It's just onto 1. They get the Omni Slash off, though. It's going to be 1 down, and now they're looking for more. No one pops the BKB. They've already dropped 3 at CCNC, getting lower and lower. The Eula Scepter keeping them alive, but the Chensu is there. The Fireballs, Pasha's Riptide, the auto attacks. Roger is dominating, and that is absolutely true in this game. As they are up 17K, they've taken down 4, and Virtus Pro will not be denied high ground this time, Brax.
Well, when I see VP's lineup, I think if you can't fight this lineup, you're going to lose so quickly. Right? We're talking about Chen, Gyrocopter, Juggernaut. These heroes, when they have a lead, they push it. They're able to take these towers. They're super strong when you group up and just fight like this. And VP have played this game wonderfully.
Yeah, I mean, from start to finish, really. Just Pasha in the top lane, the plays that Solo made earlier on. This might even be a set of racks in a tier 3 tower, maybe more. They're going to buy back. There's no exit. They destroy this puck. He's dead for 63 seconds. He has no buyback in Optic. They're on death's door right now in this tournament. They're already down 1-0. They're losing a set of racks. They're going to lose 2 sets of racks more than likely. They GG out. It's over. There's nothing they can do. Virtus Pro will 2-0 Optic Gaming. And the NA boys are done, Brax.
Yeah, Solo flexing the muscles there with the precast on the telekinesis on 33's puck. Very impressive line.
You said it earlier in the game, Brax. All smiles for Virtus Pro. And again, it's not hard to see why that game, from start to finish, they absolutely destroyed it. Just a great Chen pick for them in the draft, and then they just did everything they needed to do. The triple boulder toss at the beginning of the game,
yeah.
I think that signifies this game as a whole.
That's the story of Chen, Mott. Every game, this hero is so dominant. And we see counters like Witch Doctor, Crystal Maiden come out, they fall over every time.
Did not work out for Optic Gaming. They had a great group stage. They did really well to get to the playoffs here. A lot of hope for them in the future, I think, Brax.
Oh, I agree. I think they look very strong in this tournament. The big improvements have come their way. They're on the right path.
So that will do it for this series. That is going to be Virtus Pro moving on to face up against Team Liquid later on into the day. But for now, we're going to send it back to Paul and the boys.
Okay, thank you very much, gents. 2-0 win to Virtus Pro. We'll break things down on the panel here with Capitalist and Sunsfire Kappa. I guess when the fan comes in and they look at the score and they haven't managed to watch the match, they'll look at this and go, 2-0, yeah, expected that. Yeah. But that doesn't tell the whole story, because Optic played well over the series.
No, I think they both had their strengths during the laning phase in both Game 1 as well as Game 2 here. In fact, Game 2, 33 Puck actually did really well for himself in the laning phase against the Rubik Juggernaut. It's an advantageous lane for a Puck anyway, but I felt like he kind of capitalized on it. But as soon as we started moving our heroes around the map, I think Optic started choosing some rather unfortunate team fights. There was at least one where after that tier 1 tower in the top lane on Dire side ends up going down, Tusk is already TP'd there. Tusk ends up in a bad position. All of a sudden, Puck and Witch Doctor, they both try and funnel in to save him and try and make a fight out of it. And then they end up dying too. It felt like I was watching, it's this fight right here. I saw this happen in Game 1 as well, where they choose a bad engagement, and then it's not just one hero that dies, but multiple as a result, and they just end up throwing away some of the advantage they gave themselves in the laning phase, and you have to play perfect with this kind of lineup. Game 1, you had a little bit of leeway. Game 2, you did not.
That was the trickle feed. That's what I like to call it.
Yeah.
Just slowly, one by one, they fall. It's your instinct to go and help your teammates, you know? And you can't always get rid of that.
But there's always that little bit in the back of your mind where you go, oh, I'm doing this too late. I really shouldn't go in.
Yeah,
but you still go
anyway.
in anyway. Yeah.
I thought Pasha played unbelievably well on the Naga Siren this game.
This was another team fight that I think Optic chose to be able to fight around. They re-engage after this. As the Death Prophet comes in, Exorcism is wearing out, but they stumble right into a Naga Siren trap. They try and go for this blow up on the Juggernaut. Boom. They catch 3 heroes, 2 of them in the Meteor Hammer. And Exorcism actually was advantageous in that situation where it actually comes back and heals them at the perfect time. But I think just naturally that team fight is not good for you. You've already blown the Exorcism trying to push this tier 2. I think it was good enough just to be able to walk away from that engagement. I think naturally these choices for Optic were a bit hard against a team like VP, but sometimes you just have to have perfect decision making. That was definitely needed.
I mean, to be fair, it's really difficult to play against the Naga, just in general. Just resetting a fight. I mean, we didn't even get to see the eventual pickup of Aghanim Scepter he was going for. Between that and the healing, we're like, that's such a over just the song period, you're healing for over 100% of everybody's HP.
Yeah.
But that Meteor Hammer did a lot of work that game. We saw a couple Tier 1 towers taken out basically just by Pasha, who just consistently went back in. So we're seeing the changes not only to the cooldown of Meteor Hammer, but the tick rate. I believe, what was actually that change?
Where you can actually get off some of those instant cast abilities like BKB, Phase Shift, Eul Scepters, those sort of things you can get off.
But if they don't have it,
blast.
it's still easier to pull off, right?
Death Prophet didn't have it in that fight, and they didn't try and use it on the puck either. Yeah, I think the Naga Siren was great. It was a super good matchup against the Life Stealer, both in the laning phase and outside of that. We saw at least one really cool combination there, and it could have been so many other times where they throw down the sleep after the Life Stealer pops his rage, and then guess what? The only target that's not invulnerable is the Life Stealer, so guess who's going to take the full brunt of an Omni Slash?
Yeah, absolutely. Standout players for you?
Pasha.
Just Pasha?
Just Pasha. He did it on 1v5.
Yes, it was only Pasha played in that game.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Meteor Hammer OP now. I never thought I'd say that, honestly. when that item was introduced, I was on the verge of tilting. I still can't bring myself to say that I like the concept, but I can admit it is a very good item now.
Yeah,
it's got to a point, isn't it?
Yes.
Sure. I think the buffs were almost unnecessary because we were playing around with that item. I think it just wasn't experimented with enough. And then you give it a buff like that, 25-second cooldown, where you can use it for every single creep wave. And we're seeing the experimentation finding certain setups like Nyx Assassin, like Naga Siren, that all of a sudden we see, oh, wow, this item is actually really powerful to get chain stunts in.
How often do you see changes like that, though? You see these like big patches come out like, oh, 2-second cooldown reduction, 20+ seconds. That is ridiculous. Like, come on, man. Jesus.
Yeah, there's your MVP by Telecom. It is Mr. Pasha after a very, very good game number 2. So Virtus Pro through in 2. That was hard to say. Let's just commiserate a little bit with Optic. In fact, hold those thoughts. Do you know what? Let's get some thoughts of a winner who is right now...
Damn, Paul.
Trying not to be harsh here, but obviously being harsh. Because we do have an interview ready right now. So let's go to the stage for that.
Damn, Paul, take it easy out here. There's a lot of Optic fans. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I am here with the one, the only, the no one, sir. Seemingly an effortless series for you. Did that seem as easy as it looked?
Yeah, it was.
What? You can't say that, though, because you guys lost in the 1v1, though. I know best of 1. What changed? What happened in between the best of 1 and the best of 3?
We lost our first game at the tournament just because we didn't prepare and we weren't ready to play as a team. We won the start, we won the picks, we had like 20k lead, but just because we can't listen to each other, we lost this game.
But did that series teach you a lot about this one?
It was a slap in our face, and it's helped us a lot.
All right. Are you getting bored of playing Gyrocopter? I mean, granted, you did have 20k net worth. It can't be that boring, but how do you feel about it?
I think teams should ban it, because I'm tired. But anyway, I like it. It's Toggle Hero. It's just one skill, and out. That's all.
I heard it here first. Please help him out. Ban that hero for us, please. All right, well... I know it's a little disappointing. You guys wanted to take on Liquid in the grand finals of the tournament. You're going to have to settle for the next match, but what are you feeling about that one?
Actually, all of us is super excited to play this match. We want to beat them and we want to play them. We want to show our best against Liquid.
All right. And are we going to be seeing that, huh?
Who knows?
Well, okay, this is your opportunity to be like, hell yeah, you're going to see it, I'm going to kill him.
It's Liquid, you can't say it like that.
All right, well, we'll see how they do. Hopefully, they will destroy them for all the VP fans out there. But for the Liquid fans, we'll just have to find out. We'll see you again soon here at Bucharest Major with some more of Virtus Pro.
Thanks very much, Jake. Yes, that is the semi-final to look forward to. It is Team Liquid versus Virtus Pro. I wasn't trying to be unkind to it. It just comes naturally. So instead, let's wrap up on their great run, because they have had a very good run indeed through this tournament. Making the top 8's a great result, Cap. It shows progress in the team as well. They had a good result at Katowice as well. 2 good events in a row, both majors against some world-class opposition. That's a good start, but they do need to start getting some points at some point.
It is just a start, and you're right. You do absolutely need points, especially with the NA region. I just heard this from both Complexity and Optic. I believe they both talked about the fact that, hey, like one of us, we've got to actually start getting invited to some of these tournaments a little bit more often. Otherwise, these qualifiers end up being real difficult. So I think Optic definitely wanted to be able to prove themselves here. I'm sure they're really disappointed since they did take that best of one against Virtus Pro and then just drop 2-0, especially with the way they had a lead in that first game. I think they have to be feeling like there is a lot of improvement to be made for this team before they're ready for TI.
Yeah. And any hopes?
Yeah, I think a couple of the teams might be able to sneak into that last slot, or 7th or 8th, if you will. I mean, a lot of it depends on how many are going to be invited to that region qualifiers, right? How many spots you actually get. I assume it's going to be 2 again, but I don't think it's been officially announced. But yeah, I think one of those teams, Complexity or Optic, could potentially find the 8th slot. I mean, at the end of the day, you just need to win or at least place highly in just a couple of these tournaments because we have so many points to go in this season. So it's definitely possible. And I think Optic, like we've said many a time, they have a great ceiling. They just haven't found the consistency yet to be able to beat these top-level teams. But I feel like they can get there. I really do.
Okay. Suns fan hopes and dreams of NA Dota, making sure they make it to TI. There's still plenty left to fight for. Unfortunately, Optic fans will be looking forward to the next tournament that they can appear in. Well done, they have reached the top 8, but that is where their journey ends. We now know our 4 semi-finalists, and after the break, we'll be into the first of them with the Chinese derby between Thunder and Newbee.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Find That Swede. Here in Dota 2, we have 2 good observers, Scriff and Weppus. However, many don't know that these are actually 2 different people until today. We've got a lot of questions today, and it's your job to discover if it's either Scriff, Weppus, or Whiff.
I'm ready, Slacks. There's nothing I know more than Dota observers.
All right, great. Trent?
I tell you, I mean, this is one of those things we practice. We research the teams, and then we got to research your fellow talent. You don't want to get in awkward conversations if you don't know something about them.
Yeah, that sounds like something a serial killer would do. Let's go ahead and start this off right now. Gentlemen, question number 1, Scriff, Weppus, or Scrappus? Here we go. This person, did mandatory military service. I don't know why I laughed at that. Go ahead. Mandatory military service. Scriff or Weppus?
I happen to know the answer to this one, and it is 100% Scriff. You can tell from the awesome bod that he's got below that shirt.
Okay, well, that was interesting.
I think you're wrong, and it's actually a Scrappus.
You think Scrappus? Both of them?
Yes.
Gentlemen, the answer was just Scriff. Weppus never went into the military.
That's right.
He's too skinny. There's no way.
All right, well, question number 2. This person, let's see, owns a rebuilt Suzuki's motorbicycle.
Suzuki motorbicycle?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's got to be Weapon. He's got the look for the motorcycle. I could see him wearing a leather jacket.
I had discussions about a motorcycle. I haven't talked to them very much at many events, but I'm pretty sure that it's Scriff.
Well, gentlemen, it is actually Weppus. Yeah, you don't, for serial killer, you really...
I didn't do well my research.
Not very good. All right, we'll just continue here. This person thinks that Gal Gadot, the new Wonder Woman, is the hottest woman alive. Is it Scriff or Weppus?
Definitely Screppus, because they have the exact same taste in them.
All right.
Ooh, wow, you're just gonna clump them together like that?
You're in charge of the Scrap.
Well, you just take it. Okay, well, that's one of the Scrap-ass. This one's actually Scrap-ass because it's Scriff's body with Wep-ass's face. I've dubbed this one Werf because it's Wep-ass's body with Scriff's face. So do you want Werf?
Werf.
Okay,
Werf it is.
Werf.
Ladies and gentlemen,
All right.
it is Werf. Both
Nice.
of them
Got
think
it.
that she's a hottie. How about you guys? Huh? Wonder Woman?
Didn't see it.
Yeah, I didn't see that either.
What? It's a great movie. She's... Okay, great. All right, next question here. This one used to work in a steel plant. Scriff or Weppus?
A steel plant.
All right, that's gonna be Wep-ass. I'm just taking it. You
You're
can
taking-
tell. He's like one of those sly guys, like kind of like, you know, you think of the guys who are working in the steel shop and the machinery and everything. They gotta be a little lanky, loosey-goosey, gotta get in there maybe.
All right.
Wep-ass.
I'm going to go Scriff because he wears that delectable metal chain, and I've never seen him not wear it.
Okay, well, it's Scriff. Trent, you have 0 points. You had 0. Well, I actually did get 1 from the Gal Gadot.
Yes.
All right.
all right.
This is the lightning round, ladies and
Okay.
gentlemen. This is for double points. You're able to bet your points on how many
Oh,
you want
God.
to bet. So
Okay.
you're ahead right now. You can either bet them all Or just get one
Bet
point?
them all. Don't be a baby.
I will bet half of them.
Oh,
Two
come
of
on,
my
bet 'em
points.
all.
All right, 2 points.
Wrong. I'm gonna make this a true daily double, Alex. I will bet my 1 point.
All right. All right. Bring in our special guest, please. Drum roll.
Oh, it's live. It's like a video.
Oh no, he's here.
All right. The question for half of your points and double for yours. Which one is this? Is this Scriff or Weapons? No.
Wait, is it?
Please.
I think it's Worf. It's got to be Worf.
Is it Worf?
It's Scriff.
It is Scriff. It is Scriff. Yes, that is Scriff. Congratulations. All right. Well, we got a tie game here.
Uh-oh.
This is a big one now. All right. The tie question now. Which one is the good observer? Scriff or Weapons?
Worf.
Worf.
It's Weapons.
It was Weapons. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. The game is Iori. It was Weapons. Thank you for watching another thrilling episode of Find the Swede.
Ready. Steady. Game on.
To go and one more match tomorrow as well. That's the grand final. But today we have 3 best of 3s for you. Their last quarterfinal is upon us. Virtus Pro find themselves 1 game to the good, looking for another one to confirm yet another semi-final appearance where they would meet Liquid in that semi-final. We've also got our 2 semis to come later on today as well. Sunsfan and Capitalist are on the panel to head you into game number 2, and the draft is just around the corner. Cap, what do you want to see from Virtus Pro this time round? More of the same, I guess. It don't really have to.
Introducing a new fragrance for a new you. From Newbee. Cool as caca. Boogie just like Moogie. Restore your faith. Make all the ladies SCCCU. KP. All over your face. Newbee Scale, the second most popular fragrance in Asia.
Coming up next, Newbee versus VGJ.Thunder.
Welcome back to the Bucharest Major, where we will have our first semi-final. We're down to just 4 teams, and next up, it's the Battle of China. VGJ.Thunder have made their way through as the dark horses we said they were on day one and have guaranteed themselves some DPC points. But they're not going to be settling for that, that's for sure. They go head-to-head with an old nemesis. It is, of course, Newbee. We're at our panel right now. We have an expert on China Dota alongside Capitalist. And we welcome Mr. Jack, or KBBQ, master of everything. Podcaster, writer, analyst, commentator, host, interviewer, interpreter, translator. Have I missed anything?
Meme deliverer.
Meme deliverer! That was what we were going to talk about, because in line with the perfume, we thought we'd start this segment by catching up on Chinese memes, because I've missed them, frankly. I don't think we have enough of them in our lives, Jack. So please, talk to me about leather shoes.
There's just too many of them, but leather shoes is what Yang has come to be known by. Apparently he showed up for his first team interview in leather shoes, and so people found that to be a little bit strange. So he's carried that nickname with him ever since. But the nickname that most goes with Yang has been roughly translated, it's class or classy Yang, and it's a bit like many of these nicknames in the Chinese scene. It's a bit poking fun at him. He's known for, frankly, being quite rude in pubs, cursing excessively, and so they gave him the classy label. And sometimes he and RTK, they'll stream, they'll get in the same game, they'll be yelling at each other, threatening each other a little bit. RTK's like, "Don't make me come downstairs, live in the same house." But classy Yang is something that's stuck with him since then.
Brilliant.
Sounds like my kind of pub player.
Yeah, even in Chinese pubs, the rage flows across all languages and boundaries.
Oh, I know. I was actually on the receiving end recently.
You were, yeah.
Paparazzi and SCC flamed me. How often do they flame?
Well, that should be an honor, getting flamed by paparazzi. Please, tell me more. Tell me more.
I don't know if I want to say more. It was pretty bad. Listen, I was playing... I have a laptop, and I was playing at the hotel during the group stage. I was playing on the hotel internet. My laptop overheats, so, you know, there were certain abilities that may or may not be cast in a team fight. It's not my fault, though. And I was with GH, and Paparazzi and SCC would give me the ping. Paparazzi, he pinged me. Ping. And then he did the next level where he all-clicked my Walrus Punch because I was playing Tusk, which I did not use in that team fight because I lagged, and clicked that a couple times so it pops up, Ally, Walrus Punch. Yeah, I knew what he meant. I'm sorry.
That sounds like a unique honor. I'm sure this story will make its way onto the Chinese forums real soon.
Yeah, you'll be a Chinese meme all of yourself. Let's get into this particular game. You've highlighted the mid players in this particular matchup as 2 players that you would like to talk about, Jack. So talk us through the 2 mid players.
So we have SCCC, who we talked about yesterday, has really had to change his role quite a bit. Again, like early on with this team, he really stood out on these kind of cleanup crew type of heroes. Again, like being like a harvester. He'd come in and end fights. These Queen of Pains, these Templar Assassins. But that's really had to change a bit, both probably in terms of how they want to approach the game and because of his own performance to some extent as well. So they've moved him a little bit to more of these kind of tempo mids. And also the mid lane itself has changed quite a bit. You go from a few months ago, a mid that has so many resources in it, the extra creep, all the experience, to a mid that is now very difficult to gank and maybe is less important compared to before. And now he's got a bit of a different role within the team as well. Like he's like leading the charges now.
Do you think that the Freeze, like he's been playing kind of a similar style in that they've been picking a lot of Death Prophet, he's been playing a lot of Gyrocopter in that regard. Do you think he is that his natural play style, is the more aggressive mids?
It's almost like they've switched places actually, because Freeze, if you recall, used to play a lot of Storm Spirit, more of the like spellcaster types to try and make space, and that's actually changed a little bit. He has more of like the bigger carry out of mid role, which SCCC used to have. So that's kind of the role that he stepped into. These Gyrocopters, these Medusas, the late game turret, so to speak, if you compare their team to being a tank, that's what Freeze has stepped into recently for VGJ.
Yeah, it's fascinating how it's all going to pan out between those two and also between the 2 teams as well. Talking of which, why don't we introduce you to them, because they are ready backstage to bring out for the first semi-final of the day.
A relentless adversary who came incredibly close at TI7 has remained the deadliest team in China throughout the pro circuit. Searching for their first title outside of Asia, this team is fiercely ambitious and definitely means business. on stage, Newbee. When you fall down on your knees, beg for mercy, Mr. Please. The time has come to make things right. There ain't no chance for The Midas touch of their new TI veteran should be the final piece of the puzzle. A team who have been on the edge of greatness since the start of the pro circuit now has everything they need to truly shine on the major stage.
Those souls were not yours to claim, Shadow Fiend.
Welcome on stage, VGJ.Thunder.
There we go then. Newbee versus VGJ.Thunder, an all-China final, a semi-final. Both of them looking for a grand final. Newbee for the second time in 2018, and VGJ.Thunder already have their best ever finish, regardless of what happens this afternoon inside the DPC. But they won't be settling for fourth or third. They'll want to get through to the grand final where there is an absolute hat full of points for them as far as the DPC is concerned. Our draft will be next up, but let's preview the match itself and see where we're going with these two teams. We've got an expert from China on the desk alongside Cap in the form of Mr. KBBQ. It's so good to have you here when we get these kind of matches, by the way.
Thank you.
Because Cap knows nothing about China.
Oh, I wouldn't say he's been there a couple times.
You know, you once told me, I asked you advice on hosting, and you once told me your job is to be able to lift everyone up.
No, everyone
all
except you. Except you.
And all you do is bring me down, Paul. That's all you do.
Let's get into this game then. So, who starts as favorite, Cap?
I would say Newbee here, pretty
Even
heavily.
though VGJ have had the better performances?
I mean, better performances is all kind of a toss-up, right? You've had best of ones. Sure, you 3-0'd, but they're best of ones. And then you had a best of 3 against TNC. I think Newbee actually had the stronger opponent. I have a lot of respect for TNC, and I think TNC's performance compared to Secret's performance, I actually prefer TNC in that regard. But overall, you have to give like a little bit of credibility to Secret as a team. So I think Newbee, both the combination of their route through this tournament as well as just overall, right? Newbee beating Chinese teams is a common storyline.
All right, let me put this to you. They played Vega, OG, and Complexity in the group stages. Those are the 3 wins they had.
Okay.
Is that not a weaker set of teams?
I mean, I would say still the best of 3 against Secret. And I don't think there's anything wrong with
OG. You put
OG.
more weight on the quarterfinals.
OG didn't make top 8, but like, come on.
Still a great team.
Yeah, it's still a great team. They pushed a best of 1 Liquid game to the bitter end. Like,
they did.
I don't think you can really ask for a tougher matchup. Like,
okay. I thought it was interesting, Jack, that whilst we were watching the intros, ROTK came up here to join us for some reason. I don't know quite why he came up here to join us, but it was nice of him to come and join us for a little bit. He's got a job on his hands, surely, to try and knock Newbee out of the way to get this to his grand final. And I say him because a lot of what this team does is down to him, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite a big job, probably more than any other coach out there, I would say. I mean, he's entirely responsible for the drafts of this team, has been since the start. Basically, to know ROTK, as I said yesterday, is to know this team. The drafting philosophy is going to be his. He does the picks for these games. He tells the players what they need to focus on. He is so important to this team, the driving force behind it. And he's a big reason why some of the guys in this team, some of the support players, maybe aren't usually as vocal themselves, don't talk as much, is because he has set the strategy in place for them. So yeah, he's definitely huge to this team. Obviously, they said yesterday in the interview, there's kind of the joke where Fade said, I hope Newbee goes home. It is because Newbee are such a fearsome team against other domestic Chinese opponents. I believe they've beaten VGJ in every single series this year, except the last game they played where Newbee were playing with a stand-in. So they are a fearsome team for a reason. I think they have relatively similar playstyles, but Newbee is very steady, and they've shown that once they get to know these teams very well, they're a very difficult opponent to knock off.
I want to continue a little bit on the ROTK link with the team. Try and explain to us in the West, it would be very unusual, for instance, that anyone had kind of got the gravitas that he has with the community and with the players in China, where they could step into that kind of role. For instance, I don't know if you could see Bulba going to EG and just saying, right, guys, you're going to pick these heroes, and this is how you're going to play.
And yell at the players.
And yell at the players, and they just get on with it. I can't see that happening. All due respect to Bulba, it's a different relationship in the West. Explain why he is held in such reverence in China.
I would say that the Chinese scene is a bit more status conscious. It's just a cultural thing as well, and like his place in the scene cannot be disputed. So he's a person who has tremendous personal charisma himself. His force of personality you see through the interviews that we've gotten exposed to. You know, he spent some time with our team at Macau, and he comes in and like the whole atmosphere changes. He explained things in a very succinct and amusing, entertaining way, but it's very clear, and you see like the wisdom and the insight behind it. And so for someone who's achieved so much in the Chinese scene, who has that respect as an old head, there's very few people on the team who can kind of match up to that. And so you have someone like Siler, people like DDC who are veterans who respect that as well, even if they sometimes may not respect their teammates as much. And so ROTK is just a very important voice. Again, force of personality, his own charisma, and of course his own experience and results, which are indisputable.
At the end of the day, though, Cat, players still got to deliver, and they so far have delivered here.
They have. I'm actually pretty interested in the fact that I feel like there is a playstyle change from them, coming out from their previous qualifier performances and then going into this tournament. And I think it is very similar to what we saw from Secret and their change of face, right? They tried to give us a different concept of drafting and a different kind of show from their players. And I think VGJ.Thunder is doing something similar. They're not drafting a whole lot of those really hard carrying mids. They tried once in this tournament, and that was the Dusa mid that they went in that very first game against TNC.
Yeah.
That did not go very well. In fact, they tried to double down on the greed with running a Legion Commander in that game as well. Other than that, it's been a lot of Death Prophets, Vipers, Gyrocopters, like those kind of 15 to 25 minutes that have sort of been the mainstay of this tournament.
Do you think maybe game one again, they decide that they want to try and play a little bit different?
Against Newbee?
Yeah.
I'm not so sure.
It's a bit more risky, isn't it?
It is a bit more risky, especially since they watched that series where Newbee did take down the more aggressive lineups that Secret tried to run against Newbee. They took it down in just tremendous fashion. They absolutely owned both game one and game two. So I would be open to that first game, VGJ.Thunder trying something like that and trying a slower pace lineup like they've done in the past and give Freeze one of those harder carries.
I think there are two clear keys here for each team coming into the draft. I think if you're VGJ, you definitely want to deal with Kaka's pool. I think you absolutely cannot let Naga through. I'm not sure if Sand King is worth a ban, but you want to kind of limit Kaka's playmaking potential. He's the engine that runs his team for the most part. And if you're Newbee, I think you've got to consider maybe narrowing Yang's hero pool a little bit, because the team has been so successful when Yang gets these team fight-centric frontliners, and so you might want to limit some of those options and make VGJ play a little bit different out of their offline position.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of Brew, Omni, Underlord from Yang, so I completely agree with Jack there. I think it's very easy to be able to herd this offlaner into one hero and then try and counterpick it accordingly.
So they'll probably get rid of the Lycan as well. Like Siler is just, I guess he's known as the Wolf King, more or less by now for various reasons. They probably don't want to leave that in there. Death Prophet, another hero that he has excelled on in terms of leading the charge for his team. So
VGJ.Thunder are beginning to focus. They've got that Naga Siren Sand King.
What do you know?
Bane ban.
I would expect a hero like Disruptor, if it's not outright banned, to be an early focus as well. I think Disruptor and Elder Titan are likely some of the earlier heroes off the board here.
Yeah, DDC's played it the most. Faith's also played it the most. Definitely one of those contending heroes, isn't it?
And it's a big threat to many of the team fight offlaners that both sides like to be able to run, right? When we talk about Tidehunter, VGJ.Thunder ran it recently, but it's a KP staple.
Yeah, if you expect the game to come down to team fights, then Elder Titan is a 4 that obviously gives you a lot of team fight. Counter initiation for these kind of hybrid carries that we've seen these two run the last 2 days, Lunas and Gyros, and a way to save them as well. Good counter initiation and offensive potential too. So that's something that Thunder, if they end up not having a Tusk, which is like one of Fade's specialties, if they don't get an Earth Spear or something like that, they'll probably get a more team fight centric type of hero.
Expecting an Omni or a Tide in these first 2 picks, on both sides.
Yeah, I think Omni is much more likely, especially with his pairing with the Gyrocopter. I think Tidehunter you could usually save until 3-4 and take that chance.
So there's the first pick we expected. It is the most played hero by both of the 5s in these 2 teams.
And I think whenever you see a Disruptor picked up, it's a great team fight hero, but you want to make sure that you are always the one holding the tempo of the game. Otherwise, you start being really susceptible to that glimpse. We talked about how it played out against the Death Prophet choice of Optic in our previous series with Virtus Pro. Terrorblade is still out there as well as one of those big cores that everyone's picking.
So many options. Do you just take the Gyro here? Do you take the Witch Doctor? It is going to be the Omni Knight. And do they take the Razor just to protect it? Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. In which case, are they going to go?
They're going to go
through against the Omni.
Right.
So again, this is another one of Yang's heroes that he's had success with, and it's like it's picked up as an instant counter often to the Omni Knight. It's pretty good against the Razor as well. You're not really going to be able to kill the Brewlings. They can kind of keep you out of the fight for long enough so that your Link doesn't really do anything. So pretty nice counter pick. I think the first phase is definitely well prepared by both teams.
Yeah,
they know
knew
what they're going to go for.
Yeah, I'm not totally set on the Razor pickup here from Newbee because there are many other teams. While the laning phase is difficult for the Omni Knight against the Razor, I'm not so sure that you really need to protect this pick. In fact, in many times the Omni actually works very well against the Razor later on into these team fights. So I am not too... I'm feeling a bit bearish on Razors right now. I feel like they are too many times. I mean, we specifically have that matchup against the Lifestealer, and he's supposed to be able to do quite well there. Ends up losing his laning phase every single time. His Link, he may steal some damage. He ends up dying anyway. He isn't really able to turn those things around. So I kind of would have preferred the Gyrocopter here for Newbee if we're going to open with a 1-2 core combination. Other than that, VGJ.Thunder feels a little bit more evened out with their Disruptor Brew.
Yeah, obviously they have the Sable and some good team fight, but for Newbee, and the reason these 2 heroes can be picked up so frequently early is the pressure that they apply in lanes. Obviously Razor's seen as a natural counter. You can put him against the Brewmaster. The Omni Knight just causes laning problems all over for the most part, but teams are getting wiser about playing against these heroes as well, and you're seeing a lot of different types of counters to the Omni too. We could see a Luna, as we've seen, paired with like 1 or 2 other laners, does very well against Omni and can zone him. We've seen Viper a few times as well. Just many different answers that teams have across the board.
Thunder have continued on the focus of support bans.
Yeah,
Another
take that
one on
Earth Spirit.
Fade. Yeah.
The instant silence is really good against the Brewmaster from the Earth Spirit. And it's the same reason why Disruptor is such a great opening pick, because it counters, it's relatively okay versus Omni Knight, but it's much better versus the Tidehunters and the Brewmasters because the instant response it allows you in the AoE control. So there's not going to be too many 4 positions left in the pool by the time this is all said and done.
I think we could see potentially something like a Doom here as well. Also, another option against the Omni Knight. I think unless they want to run this as a 4, they could potentially also pick up a Rubik on the side of Thunder. But there's the Lycan ban. Didn't come in the first phase, but Sylar is known, not for anything else, certainly for this hero.
VGJ.Thunder, we talked about the Night Stalker in their opening matchup. I still think that's a possibility as a later 4-position pickup. If it's not paired with the Death Prophet, I think it still can be okay for VGJ.Thunder. They seem pretty comfortable on it.
Yeah, it's a hero that this team really values, especially on Fade. Again, just kind of the vision, you have the silence for the Omni Knight as well. Just helps them take better engagements, which is usually very important to their early mid-game. When they want to get together with Sylar and start taking objectives, they need to be smart about where they go. Newbee is a team that usually makes use of smokes very well, very efficiently, and they have great team fight positioning. And so having a vision advantage can help negate that. The Terrorblade ban is interesting. They might be this is something that you see banned against the Gyrocopter, just a strong hero in general. And so maybe VGJ have to think about taking that out as well.
Newbee's turn to pick.
I guess it could work for them as a mid-hero, but I'm kind of feeling like it would actually work for VGJ.Thunder.
Yeah, they have options here. I think Gyro or Luna are likely pickups for them.
10 seconds remaining.
You know, one hero that has actually fallen off pretty heavily here, the Tiny. VGJ.Thunder tried to run the Sylar Tiny. I don't think it was his problem at all. I think it came down to the Dusa and the Legion Commander pick that were problems in their opening draft against TNC.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that Tiny went from pretty widely regarded as one of those like mainstay cores that is always a problem in those opening picks and has fallen off the wagon pretty heavily here.
Yeah, played 11 times here with an 18% win rate.
Oh.
I talked to them a little bit about that game, and I think for them, they felt that they rushed the Tiny pick, and then just the laning in general. It ended up being against the Bat Rider, and it really suffered. So they would have wanted to move the Legion Commander over there.
Yeah, we talked about the laning phase and what they wanted, and they did not do that whatsoever. So the Luna into the Razor here. So Razor can kind of latch onto a Luna and take away some of that damage. They have a Omni Knight with the Repel, as well as Razor can be an early BKB hero. But it has been really favored lately. We keep on seeing these Lunas versus Gyrocopters and how they are farming similarly. And Chen was still out in the pool.
This is interesting, 'cause I don't think Faith or Kaka have played this in a very long time. So this is definitely a bit of a wrinkle for them. As you mentioned, Luna, they'll probably want to put him in the Omni lane. I think with the Disruptor, it also frees up the possibility of sending their 4 down with the Brewmaster to pressure the safe lane, or to give some relief against whoever is with that Razor.
But they're already going to be feeling the pressure of this Chen. So this is definitely not the more Western approach to Chens, where they're running these with, I would say, these lane shovers who want to be able to dive towers. Omni Knight's going to be okay with it, but it's definitely a different kind of pressure, and I wonder how well it's going to be at threatening this Luna. It's definitely one of those carries that can be.
So they've played Luna twice in the last 15 months. And the last time was 4 months ago. Before that, it was January of 2017 when they played it in a Meepo lineup.
Dire team back.
Wild.
I don't remember that one.
That was against Wings at Genting.
Well, with the Viper now banned, I was thinking Viper or DK, another one of those kind of front-lining pushing heroes.
But yeah, last time they played was 4 months ago. There was in Captain's Draft against LGDFY.
So there's the Bounty, seen as a good harasser of the Chen. You can really slow him down, even like block his camps and just not allow him to run over your lanes. But also, again, a vision hero, which Thunder prioritizes more than some other teams. You see them get Night Stalker for that reason as well. Take smarter fights. And then, of course, this hero is also very popular because it just provides move speed for your team. And when you have heroes that are already faster, or make them even faster, it's definitely a very nice advantage for getting numbers to team fights or getting out of bad engagements.
10 seconds remaining.
Actually, they could do DK on Newbee side as well. DK Razor Omni. It'd be one of those pretty heavy sustain lineups. You'd have an SF to go against.
Yeah, so there's something that'll help against Chen creeps. You have a lot of hybrid, again, magic damage as well for the Omni Knight. Definitely benefits from that move speed as well, even more with the Bounty Hunter. And a hero that will give them very strong presence in mid, no matter who this last pick is. You have kill potential and harassment potential. You can take that tower quickly, and he's a little bit less concerned about Chen than some other cores.
I wonder how comfortable they feel about the Razor versus SF mid matchup, and then they can pick a different side lane hero.
Yeah.
Something that matches.
I mean, both Mugi and SCCC do play the Razor, so they can move it.
I kind of feel like I like to be able to keep the Razor versus the Brew and get a different mid.
Right.
Yeah, I wonder if they go back to something like a Queen of Pain and SCCC staple. There is a Disruptor, but beyond that, there isn't too much lockdown for that.
And it's a nice pure damage nuke to be able to bring both the Luna as well as the SF, BKB, agility cores that are kind of low on HP at times. Pure damage nuke can be quite good for you. You take a faster pace against this team who has a Bounty Hunter. They want to be able to get those kills, but between a Quap and a Razor, Newbee would definitely be taking the first step when it comes.
Here we go.